Alright everybody, Trump just came back swinging, and Washington is in total meltdown. Executive orders? Signed. Pardons? Issued. Secrets? Unsealed. And the media? They can't believe what just happened. Hold on to your seats because this isn't politics as usual. This is Trump Unchained. We have a lot to unpack in today's video, so let's jump right in.
Sir?
Is it?
Yes, sir. First, we have a list of pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutations?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. They're expecting it. Approximately 1,500 people. Six commutations.
Were there any cases you did not commute or pardon of people?
We're looking at different things, but the commutations would be the ones that we'll take a look, and maybe it'll stay that way, or it'll go to, full pardon.
And the order does require the Bureau of Prisons to act immediately on receipt of the pardons and
Right.
commutation orders. Sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Okay, thank you very much.
This is actually an executive order designating the cartels and other organizations to be foreign terrorist organizations.
That's a big one.
Yes, sir.
People have wanted to do this for years. So they are now designated as terrorist organizations, foreign. And Mexico probably doesn't want that. But we have to do what's right.
This next executive order is about protecting America from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Again, a crisis at the border, but it goes beyond that and it implicates other executive powers as well.
Okay?
President Trump, if cartels are now going to be seen as foreign terror organizations, would you think about ordering U.S. Special Forces into Mexico to take them out?
Could happen. Stranger things have happened. What is this one?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization, sir.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And the next item, sir, is a letter that will be transmitted to the United Nations explaining that we are withdrawing from the Paris Climate Treaty.
Alright, one of the first items on Trump's agenda was his decision to pardon the January 6th protesters. These weren't your typical pardons. We're talking about people who were sitting in jail for years, some of them with no trial, no due process, and not a fair shot in court. Many of these folks weren't even involved in any violent activity. They were treated like hardened criminals when they weren't even armed. Meanwhile, the real bad actors, like the ones who caused actual destructions in our cities, got a slap on the wrist. So, who gets a second chance? Enrique Tarrio, leader of the Proud Boys, and big names like Ethan Nordine and Joseph Biggs, and about 1,500 others who were part of the Capitol protest. Now this move has the left absolutely furious. They're screaming about emboldening extremists and going on about, but my insurrection, while reaching all new levels of cope and insanity. They are too indoctrinated and polarized to see most of the attendants weren't even violent. They were taking pictures, wandering around the Capitol. And Trump isn't just giving them a pass. He's taking a stand. He's calling these people hostages of a broken system that was more interested in silencing opposition rather than serving justice. And how's the media handling it? They're in a total meltdown. They can't handle it. This is only the beginning, so get those liberal tier mugs on standby. This brings us to the assassination files. Trump just opened up the floodgates on one of the most explosive declassifications in U.S. history. We're talking about the John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King assassination files. All of them finally being released to the public. No more locked up secrets, and no more cover-ups. We've been fed half-truths and convenient lies, but now it's all about transparency. This isn't just a bunch of boring government memos. These are files that are about to blow the lids off the official narratives we've been fed for decades. For years, the public has been kept in the dark, and historians and conspiracy theorists alike have begged for access to these files. But now, Trump's pulling the curtain back. We're talking about potential smoking guns here. These documents could finally reveal the true players behind these assassinations, the ones who pulled the strings, the ones who knew what was going on but stayed silent. Who really had something to gain from these killings? What role did intelligence agencies play? Or foreign governments? This is the kind of information that could reshape everything we thought we knew about American history. And here's the kicker. This isn't some slow drip of information. Trump set a deadline. In just 15 days, the process begins. And within weeks after that, the full documents are going to be available to the public. No more redacted pages or national security excuses. It's time to get the raw, uncensored truth. In the deep state, they're sweating bullets. They've been trying to suppress these documents for decades, and now they'll finally be exposed. Next on the chopping block is declaring war on the cartels. This one is massive. Trump just pulled the trigger on one of the most aggressive anti-cartel measures yet. He's officially designating Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations. Cartels are now on the same level as ISIS, and the gloves are off. These cartels have been flooding the U.S. with drugs, turning entire cities into war zones, and running human trafficking operations on a massive scale, and Trump is done sitting back and letting it happen. He's launching a full-scale attack. So what does this mean in real terms? It means that the U.S. government now has the power to freeze cartel assets, target financial networks, and deploy military forces. We're talking drone strikes and special ops raids. These cartels are no longer just criminal organizations. They're enemy combatants. For years, these organizations have reigned unchecked, with corrupt Mexican officials turning a blind eye to the chaos. But now Trump's saying, we're done waiting for Mexico to clean up their mess. We're taking matters into our own hands. These cartels aren't just dangerous. They're a national security threat. They've infiltrated governments, bribed politicians, and corrupted law enforcement. But now, Trump's pulling the plug on their reign of terror. Mexican government officials who have been cozying up to these cartels are receiving a very clear message. America's not going to tolerate this any longer. And that brings us to Trump versus globalism. The World Health Organization and Paris Climate Accords are gone. Trump just made it crystal clear he's not backing down from the globalist agenda. The U.S. is out of the World Health Organization and the Paris Climate Accords again. The WHO has been nothing but a puppet for China, and Trump's had enough. The way they botched the pandemic and their failure to put America's health interests first, it's inexcusable. The U.S. is the one funding this corrupt mess while China walks away free, doing whatever it wants. Trump is saying no more. That means no more U.S. money to an organization that doesn't have our back. We're taking our resources and our influence elsewhere. And then there's the Paris Climate Accords. This was an absolute disaster for the U.S. economy. While China and India were allowed to keep polluting, America was supposed to bear the brunt of crippling regulations. and Trump isn't having it. The Paris deal was a real job killer and a wealth transfer, and he's putting an end to it. America's prosperity isn't going to be held hostage by global bureaucrats who don't care about the future of the American worker. This is about putting America first. The globalist elites? They're in full panic mode. They can't believe Trump is putting an end to their plans. But the American people, they're cheering. It's about time someone stood up to these global forces and put American interests above everything else. And next we have America First Energy. The comeback starts now. Trump just dropped a hammer on America's energy future. This executive order is going to turn the energy game on its head, and the radical green agenda is about to take a massive blow. This move by Trump, it's about energy independence, consumer choice, and getting rid of the bureaucratic nonsense that's been suffocating American energy production. The first thing gone is the EV mandates. No more forcing Americans to buy electric cars they don't need or want. If you want an EV, that's your choice. But if you prefer gas-powered cars, you're not getting priced out. The government doesn't control your choices, you do. The wild state bans on gas-powered cars, Trump's putting an end to that madness. No more California and other blue states trying to dictate what you can drive. Trump's bringing the power back to the people. Now let's talk about home appliances for a minute. Under Biden, they were coming after your dishwashers, your stoves, and even your shower heads with ridiculous regulations. Trump is saying nope. The government doesn't get to decide how your appliances work. You want a dishwasher that actually gets the job done? You got it. A stove that heats up fast? Go for it. And when it comes to energy production, it's full speed ahead. Pipelines, oil drilling, coal production. Trump's opening the floodgates and making it easier than ever for American companies to power up. No more endless environmental reviews. No more waiting for years while we watch energy prices skyrocket. The Keystone XL pipeline, it's happening again. Trump's cutting through the red tape and making sure Americans get the energy that they need at prices they can afford. So that's going to wrap up today's video, but I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What was your favorite action Trump took in his first week in office? Was it the pardons? Was it the rollback of Biden's policies? Or something completely different? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of the action. We'll be covering every moment of this new chapter in American history. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, give this video a thumbs up. It helps out the channel, and more importantly, it helps get this information out to more people. See you in the next one.